Right. And so welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee Sunday celebration for this, the 30th of August. My name is Rick Carney, and I'm a licensed prayer practitioner here at the center, and I'll be your host for today. And I just wanted to welcome you. I know that you have a lot of places you could be, a lot of things you could be doing right now. And so I'm so glad that you are taking the time to be with us here this morning. Our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all while awakening to the one. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. We know that there are many different paths to God. Recognize that all of these paths end in oneness and love. We start our service every Sunday with a silent reading of the receptivity statement. And so why don't we do that? I am here by divine appointment. Something I'm about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. And so, once again, thank you for joining us. We are starting our day with some music and a bit of a musical meditation brought to us by friends of the center, Melissa and Z. And so what I invite you to do is just sit back. If you're comfortable, close your eyes and listen to the music and the meditation provided by Melissa and Z.
As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. I surrender.
From that place of yes, a tender yes, I surrender. I surrender to the one life that lives inside me. One power, one love, one yes. I surrender to the living yes inside me. And I radiate this yes to the world. Yes to love. Yes to health. Yes to peaceful power and powerful peace. This is the truth of me. I need do nothing but simply be. Simply breathe. And in my breath, in my being, lives this peace. A radiant, vibrant peace that knows no bounds. I relax into this peace now. With each breath, I have a deeper and deeper awareness of the truth of me. I surrender to this truth, and I allow the music to lead me into a space of contemplation. Bringing my attention back to my breath, I am grateful. Grateful for my mind, grateful for my breath, and grateful for the peace that I am. All is well.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Really lovely. Well, we arrive now at the time for our spiritual reading. So I introduce Shirley Clark to unmute and share her words.
Should we do the invocation and affirmative prayer first?
Shirley.
What greater lead in to the affirmative prayer than that beautiful meditation by Melissa and Z? And I think that they capture the idea of oneness and surrendering to that one, and that openness, that surrender that they talk about, and the peace and the power and the beauty, all attributes of the one, and the awareness and the acceptance of surrender, attributes of the one, love and power. And I know that I am one with that power, with that one mind, with that beautiful, peaceful, all-knowing presence. And I claim that for each and every one of us, that each and every one of us is a face of the one, a representation of that beautiful, all-knowing mind. And I claim all of those attributes for each and every one of us, knowing that we are all good, that we are all faces of God, acting in, through, and as each one of us. And I am grateful for this time together, and grateful for, as Z put it, her mind, our love, our peace, and knowing that each and everything that comes to us through our openness is good, very good. And so I just know that our time together is blessed today, and I am grateful for that, and I let it go and let it be, and so it is. And our reading for this morning is an excerpt from the book Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and Love It. And that is by our guest speaker. Guest speaker's name, I don't see it.
That would be Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones.
Thank you. I just didn't see it right away. He says, there is a place within us that yearns to explore beyond the boundaries of daily life. A call that beckons me and every other person who has ever lived with passion, purpose, and meaning. Are we paying attention to that call, or are we resisting its nudge? Ernest Holmes referred to that inner impulse to push out as the divine urge. It permeates every living thing, and its voice perpetually whispers in our inner ear, grow, grow, grow. I have to be more tomorrow than I was yesterday. But there is another voice that often speaks much louder, the voice of fear. It shouts, no, 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 stay, stay, stay. Stay right where you are, because while you may not like it, at least you know the rules and the boundaries. It is safe, and you risk nothing by staying put. Unfortunately, that is the big lie. There is great risk in resisting the divine urge to grow. It is a divine imperative that all living things must grow, and if they don't, they die. There is no middle ground. This universal imperative includes us. When we cease growing, a part of us begins to slowly die. This is inherently true physically, emotionally, and spiritually. When our body stops growing, it starts to wither. When our relationships stop growing, they begin to stagnate and die. The same is true for our careers and everything else that needs the life force to sustain homeostasis, vibrancy, and health. Many people resist growth because it brings change, and change forces them into the mystery of the unknown. Those who insist on knowing the whys and hows of everything are not generally happy, healthy, and peaceful individuals. Their need to know is driven by fear and insecurity, not inspiration. The earthbound part of us cherishes the illusion that there is security in knowing what the future holds. Attachment to this illusion keeps us stuck in the zone of the known as we succumb to its voice of seeming logic and reason. That voice represents a compelling case for not ever taking the risk of leaving the nest of the known and for avoiding change at all costs. The minute we yield to that voice and make a fear-based choice to settle for our current conditions, irrespective of how comfortable we are, an intangible but vital part of us starts to wither and die because its divine purpose is not being honored. That part of us is our soul. Why do we resist the mystery that change brings? When we get too rigid and inflexible, rigor mortis of the soul sets in. For proof of this, we need look no further than those who choose to stay in a relationship or a job long after the soul or life force that originally brought it passion and joy has vacated the premises. The soul's nature is to evolve and push out, ever finding greater ways to express the life we've been given. This expansion requires leaving the comfort of the known with a clear intention to continue learning, growing, exploring, and evolving. This takes not only courage, but curiosity and inquisitiveness as well. The key to our continued learning and personal evolution lies in the unknown, and curiosity and inquisitiveness unlock the door. Curiosity is the desire to learn about anything. It invites us to venture beyond the boundaries of what we already know. It compels us to step out of the box. Just watch any 2-year-old child and you'll see what I mean. Curiosity is energized by the spirit within that knows there is more to know. The only way of learning what that is to follow its lead.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Before we hear from Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones, I have a little music to share, brought to us by Karen Drucker.
In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am love. 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 I am peace.
Just amazing music from an amazing lady. Wow. We've come now to the point where we shall hear from Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. He's our guest speaker. Throughout his life, Dr. Jones has been on a quest to inspire and uplift people to a higher expression of life. His personal vision is to guide people to their purpose, knowing that when they fully awaken to who they are and why they are here, they can share their gifts with humankind. He is a world-class speaker, mentor, author, and columnist for the Huffington Post and the Science of Mind magazine. Among his many books are The Art of Abundance, 10 Rules for a Prosperous Life, Your Redefining Moments, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be, The Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and to Love It, and my favorite of all, How to Speak the Science of Mind. And so, without further ado, let's hear from Dr. Jones.
Hey, good to see you. I'm Dennis Merritt Jones, and I want to thank you and your spiritual community for allowing me to be part of your lives today. The very first question that I ask of you, and I always ask this question when I first present with any group, even when I've been with them a number of times, and if I have, you know the question. How are you breathing right now? How are you breathing? The reason I ask this, and I invite you to consider it, is that your breath is what tethers you to the present moment. And when you breathe consciously, it tethers you to the present moment where you're open to experiencing what life has to offer. Life is always waiting for us to show up in the present moment where it's waiting to bestow us with its gifts. So I say to you right now, breathe and welcome to the present moment. This morning, let's get to the party. I'm going to be speaking to you on a topic that I love. It's based on my book, The Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and Love It. And if you consider it, life has been uncertain from the day we got here, and it will be until the day we leave. It's a mystery. And even more so, if you think about it, we come from the ultimate mystery. Who knows where we came from? Who knows? But our soul essence lands in the garments of flesh and bone for a period of years, and then when it's ready to go on to what's next, it ejects and goes back into the ethers from which it came. These bodies are nothing more than carbon-based, biodegradable, disposable vessels that we use on a temporary basis. What's not mysterious about that? But what's equally mysterious is that from the time we get here until the time we leave, from that very first breath that we've taken to the last one, life is equally uncertain. And yet we go on pretending that it's not until something pops up in front of us like an epidemic or a pandemic that causes us to really come to the edge of our beliefs and question what's next. We live in great uncertainty. And I want to talk about that today because I think I can give you some tools that help you learn how to live more fully in that presence of uncertainty and live with it in a proactive way. So the question isn't, is life uncertain? It always has been, it always will be. Our relationships, nobody knows what's next, what's going on the planet, nobody knows what's next. So the question is, how do we make peace with uncertainty? How do we come to the edge of our uncertainties and learn to live in a proactive way rather than a reactive and fearful way? What if you could take your uncertainties, this is a question I invite you to consider, and look through the new eyes, the new perception, and see life as a mystery. See life as literally as a mystery rather than an uncertainty. Those are really big differences. The word mystery comes from the root word mystique or mystery, which invites the question: is it possible that you could begin to see life through the eyes of a mystic? A mystic. What is a mystic? A mystic is someone who's clearly spiritualized their life, and they live in a place where they're so aware of that presence within them that goes beyond the veil of the five senses, that person, he or she, can listen to and lean into and allow to guide their lives. And that's what a mystic is, And here's the reality: we're all mystics. Can I get a witness for that? We're all mystics. That's the good news. The other news is some of us are optimistics, yeah, and some of us are pessimistics. And the question is, which of those camps do you set up in? Are you an optimist or a pessimist? And the reality is, the biggest question is, if you were standing on the edge of the unknown, which you are, we all are, would you rather be standing on the edge holding the hand of an optimist or a pessimist? The pessimist is saying, oh my God, don't look down, don't lean over, don't go forward. You could lose everything. And what is the optimist saying? Look up, look up. Trust and know there's something within you that knows how to get you to what is next. That's what an optimist says. And the reality is, we're all born optimists. And yet somewhere in our early years, we're trained to become pessimists. We're trained to define our lives by fear rather than optimism. To consider this, children, when they're very young, they're brave, they're courageous until as they grow, we reel them in. We set boundaries up for them out of our own love and care and concern for them. But nonetheless, we set boundaries for them that define their lives, and we teach them to live within the construct of those boundaries, and they'll be safe. Everything will be fine. Don't color outside those lines because it's dangerous out there. And so what happens is, after a while, we go back and forth in that pattern, that mindset of staying within the boundaries of what is, and don't ever venture to the unknown, that we begin to go back and forth in that mindset, and we build a rut. And that rut goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And pretty soon, you're in a rut, you can't see out of it. And what is a rut? We all know that. A rut is a grave with no ends on it. And it's said that we get out of the rut one of two ways, either through inspiration or desperation. Inspiration lifts us up, and desperation pushes us out. And one is called, the inspiration moves through love and trust and faith, and desperation is through fear and doubt. And so the question is, which of those do you want to let guide your life? If you want to see a good example of how to do it, look to nature. Nature has one of the most beautiful examples in the world, and it's in the form of birds. I had, this is a true story, it's actually in the book. One year while living in California, my house was nestled up in the foothills, and we had a lot of critters around. And every spring, the same family of sparrows would come and build and rebuild the nest under the patio awning in the backyard, which every year they did the same thing. And one year we had a bay window in the kitchen so we could watch these birds doing their thing without disturbing them. And I was so blessed one morning to be there, standing at the kitchen window watching when the chicks that were hatched decided it was time to leave the nest. And so there was 4 chicks in the nest. The first one comes out of the nest, walks up to the edge of the awning. It's about a 10-foot drop. And he looks down. And he looks back up, and his eyes go like this, you know. And I don't speak birdese, but if I did, I think he'd be saying, holy bananas, that's a long way down. I could lose everything, you know. And yet, something within him caused him to flap his wings, truly. And he leaned over and lost his balance, I think intentionally, and fell into the call of gravity. And he flew. He flew around the patio one time and went out into the avocado orchard and lit on the branch of an avocado tree. And there he sat chirping. The second chick came out and did the exact same thing. Third chick did the same thing. Fourth chick came out to the edge, flapped his wings, looked down, looked up again, and went and jumped back in the nest. He wasn't too excited about that. It reminded you of any of our children. So the young chick sat there in this nest for 5 minutes, and his siblings were out in the orchard chirping away, you know, having a good time. And I think they were probably, in bird language, encouraging their little sibling to come to the edge and lean over and jump, which he did. He just jumped out of the nest, literally went to the edge and sprang over and began to flap his wings. Didn't even look down. He just flapped his wings. Of course, he flew and went out to the avocado orchard and landed on the tree branch with his other siblings. And they sat there for a minute, chirping away and, you know, doing the little birdie high fives. They had just accomplished something quite amazing for them. They had totally broken bonds with their limitations. It came to a whole another level of life. And then they literally took off together from that tree, flew one big victory lap around the orchard, and were off into the ethers to explore their birdness. And I thought to myself, man, that is really a profound lesson. The awareness I had was this, that not once did I see the mother bird or the father bird on the edge with the little chick saying, okay, honey, flap your wings, lean over, trust, know that everything will be fine, say your positive affirmations, or you're going to fly. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. There's something within the bird that knew how to fly. And there's something within the bird that knew it knew how to fly. And it trusted it enough to come to the edge, lean over, and fall into the call of gravity, knowing there was something within the bird that knew how to be a bird. And I would propose this to you. If the Infinite One is able to imbue that level of intelligence to deal with uncertainty in a bird, do you not think that we would also be imbued with the same intelligence to know how to come to the edge of our uncertainties and metaphorically fly into what's next, to know what we need to do and how to get there? Shake your head like this. Yes, we would. We would. You know, there's a great saying in the Zen. It says, move and the way will open. Move and the way will open. It doesn't say sit there and you're behind and wait and hope, and if the way opens, then move. It says move first and the way will open. Ernest Holmes said it another way, treat, and move your feet. I mean, prayer needs to have with it action. To faith without actions is dead, as Paul said. So what I've come up with is 3 questions that you can ask yourself on a daily basis, and they are in the book, The Art of Uncertainty, that you can ask yourself on a daily basis that will help you learn how to come to the edge and help you discern if you are coming to the edge of your uncertainties, and learning how to fly, more metaphorically, to take off into what's next in your life. The first question that I would invite you to consider, to ask yourself on a daily basis is, what role does fear play in keeping me stuck where I am? Where in my life am I being stuck rather than moving forward because I'm just flat out frightened? Now, it's very important that we don't demonize fear, because fear is not a bad thing. You know, some of us wouldn't be on the planet today if we hadn't had fear come up and help us reroute the direction we were going. And yet, as we grow, you know, with the boundary line between what to fear and what not to fear gets blurred. And that is the challenge. A lot of us drag childhood fears into adulthood where they don't belong. You know, a child is only born, from what I understand, with 2 basic fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Consider that. If that's true, every other fear we have is acquired. And if something is acquired emotionally, I think that we can unlearn it as well. That doesn't mean fear goes away, but it means we learn how to deal with it differently. Yeah. You know, have you ever noticed that when something scary comes up and you're stuck, your mind sends out a reconnaissance patrol into the darkness, you know, which is a natural fear for kids until they learn to transcend it. And in the darkness, the messenger comes back to us and says, don't go that way, man. It's scary out there. You'll lose everything, you know. So fear, have you noticed that if you think about it, I know you all know the acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real, you know. And that's what stops us a lot of times, is the evidence we see in front of us that appears so real that it stops us in our tracks. I got another acronym for you for the word fear that is equally, if not more, real. And that's forget everything and run. Which is what we do sometimes. We forget everything and we run when something scary pops up in front of us. And so if you were to think about the things we run from, there's 3 touchstones to fear that I would invite you to consider real quick. First, understand you can run, but you can't hide. You can run from your fear, but you can't hide. Why is that? Well, your fear is not out there. It's not out there. Your fear is something that lives within, that ascends from within, that is triggered by something out there. So you can run any place you want to go. You can take the barge up the river of denial on many passageways. But when you come back, your fear will always be there waiting for you to take up where it left off. So you can run, but you can't hide. That's the first thing to remember about fear. The second touchstone of fear is that all fear is attached to death. Concern of loss of something. It could be a physical loss, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a life. It could be but fear can equally be the concern of the death of a relationship, the death of a financial status, the death of a career. There's many faces that fear hides behind that you wouldn't think of it as that, but that's what it is. It's always attached to a concern of loss of something. So the next time you're faced with a fear, just stop and look at what's behind that you're concerned about losing. Sometimes it's just the fear of losing control. That's known as anger or worry. So the third touchstone of fear is to realize that you know, in the East, they say we must learn to dance with our demons. That means that rather than run from our fear, that we call it in close, and we embrace it, and we invite it to be our teacher. And that we would perhaps visualize pulling it in for a big hug and whisper in our fear's ear, "Oh, master teacher of the moment, teach me what I need to know so that I can transcend you and move on with my life." That doesn't mean the fear goes away, but it means we rise above it and we see it from a new angle, a new perspective, and then we move on with our lives. How are you breathing? Yeah, I know. So the second question we can ask ourselves on a daily basis is, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of that's keeping me stuck on the edge of the mystery of what's next for me? You know, sometimes, you know, you don't have to look too far. Everybody on this viewing this morning probably has something in their life that they need to let go of. And in one form or another, we're not always aware of it until we start looking at the question. And one of the ways that you can tell what it is you might need to let go of that you may not be aware that you need to let go of is listen to the stories you tell. Listen to the way you talk when you're not consciously thinking about what you're saying. And you'll continue to tell the same stories over and over again throughout the day. And by stories, I mean the things you kind of constantly talk about that are usually in a rut of ain't it bad, you know, look what he did, look what she did, look at the news, blah, blah, blah. And we'll continue to talk about the same thing over and over and over again. If you really want to see how true this is, invite someone that you love and loves you, that you trust, to call you on it the next time they hear you telling your story over and over and over again. And you may be amazed. And that story is one of the things that's keeping you stuck from moving forward. And the reality is it doesn't always have to be a negative thing that we're talking about that keeps us stuck. The stories we tell. Sometimes it's a very lovely story, but if it keeps us stuck, it keeps us from moving on, then we need to look at it. A good example of this, years ago, 30 years ago, or more. I had one of my members when I had a church came to me, Stan. He was just a lovely old guy. He was 90 years old, and he came to me and he said, I need to talk because I'm really hurting right now. I said, well, Stan, what's going on? He says, well, I'm 90 years old, and I've been a widower now for 5 years. My beloved wife passed, and I got more good miles on me. I want to get back in the game. Now, there's an optimist. But he said, I have no trouble getting dates, right? 90 years old. He says, but I date them once or twice, and they don't want to see me again, and it's really causing me a lot of pain. Can you help me? He said, will you please come to my house and let me tell you more about it, and I'll make you dinner and we'll talk about it. So I did. I went to his home one evening, and he made dinner for me. And while we were eating, he, no sooner began the conversation with talking about his beloved, past, deceased wife. That's all he talked about. I looked around the house and I saw pictures of her on all the walls. Her clothes still hung in the closet. He still wore a wedding band. None of these things are bad. Please understand, these are not bad things at all. But if they keep you stuck in the past, they need to be looked at. And I pointed that out to Stan. I said, Stan, what you need to know is that you're giving the universe a sign that you're not available. And the women who you're dating, they see that immediately, and they get the message that you're not available. So take a look around you and see what maybe needs to be let go of, physically if not emotionally. He got it. We did some prayer work that night, and I think he got it, because 2 or 3 months later, I saw him walking through the grocery store, true story, walking arm in arm with his fiancée. Yeah, a younger woman, 85 years old. But nonetheless, he came to a point of understanding what he needed to release, as good as it was, to make space to receive something new, a relationship. So it's not always, material things we need to let go of. Sometimes it's emotional things that we need to let go of. So maybe the question we have to ask ourselves on a regular basis is, who would I be if I let go of this fill in the blank, whatever it is? Who would I be? In Tao Te Ching, there's a great saying. It says, when I let go of who I am, I become who I can be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Yeah. Take a breath. The third question that we can ask ourselves on a daily basis is this. Do I take time daily to contemplate the amazing gift that's been bestowed upon me? And am I taking time to acknowledge and give thanks to the giver of the gift? Of course, the gift is what? Life itself. Yeah, life itself. Life is, and we take it for granted, life is such a precious pearl of great price. And we don't stop to think about that until we're faced with uncertainty about perhaps losing something that is attached to our life. There's a lot of great practices we can attach to or practice in regard to looking at this question. Do I take time daily to acknowledge the giver of the gift? This practice is encouraging people to really go into self-inquiry. I learned this from my friend Dwayne Elgin out of his book, The Living Universe. He refers to it as the 3 miracles. And this is a self-inquiry practice. There's 3 miracles, if you think about it. The very first miracle is, if you're willing to think about it, is that anything exists. Wow. The miracle that life, that the universe exists. You go out at night, look at the stars, look at the planets, look at the sky, look at the sun, look at the moon. It's a miracle that all of this exists. The second miracle is that living things exist. Living things exist that have life force in them, pushing out. And when you become aware that there's life force and everything is pushing out, encouraging it to be more, and we live with the awareness of that, it invites us to step more fully into the mystery. And the third miracle is a profound mystery. And that is the miracle that living things exist that know they exist. That would be you and me. Self-awareness, the most profound gift of all. Do you realize how amazing it is that you can think a thought, experience a feeling, and then step outside of that thought or that feeling and look at it, witness it, observe it, interpret it? Whew. That changes the game. Self-awareness is the most profound miracle of all, other than life itself. And you know, it's when we come to a full awareness of these practices that we realize that every time we look in the mirror, we realize that we're looking at the face of the one, the divinity of the one, looking back at us. That's when we know we've arrived at a true understanding of what it means to live in the mystery of life, to be able to gaze it, not have to figure it out, but just to appreciate it, to be one with it, to be one with it. You know, and that's the point when our being self merges with our doing. Here's doing on the surface of life. Here's our being. And it's when we can merge our being self with our doing self right here, and to become fully aware of bringing our being nature into our doing. That's the most amazing gift of all, to incorporate in our daily lives the awareness of the mystery. Now, that does not mean that the mystery ever stops. What it does mean is that uncertainty will stop in our lives, because we will have let go of the need to know the ending of everything. We're willing to look at the universe as expanding at the speed of light, and even it not knows where it's going. So when we merge into that deeper sense of awareness, be here now, one in, as, through, and is the essence of God, what happens is we become part of the mystery, and we behold it with awe and joy and love. And we realize that our being here isn't a mistake, that we're here on purpose. We're on a mission. You know, I love Richard Bach in his book Illusions. He says, here's a test to know if your mission on earth is completed. If you're alive, it's not. Are you alive? Take your pulse beat. Yeah, okay. So the point is this, you know, you have more to do or you wouldn't be here, but you have to lean into the edge, over the edge of uncertainty, to see what that is, what's calling you to what's next. And I close with a great poem by Guillaume Apollinaire, a great French poet, mystic, social pundit. He wrote, "Come to the edge," he said. They said, "No, we're afraid." "Come to the edge," he said. They came. He pushed them. They flew. Come to the edge. There's more for you to do. Take a breath, lean over, and enjoy the view. Peace.
Pretty amazing. Recognizing the time of day, and I want to let you know that Reverend Dr. Jones left also a meditation and prayer that I will hold on to, and we can play at another time in connection with our morning meditations or another service, but let us move on in our order of service to our times of sharing in our abundance. The CSL Tahoe-Truckee relies upon you for your contributions to continue spreading positive messages during this time. Your gifts make a giant difference, so we are grateful for your contributions to our center. You may donate to our center in many different ways, either by going to our website and making a contribution using PayPal, sending in a check to the address at the bottom of the screen there. I invite you to look into your heart as we say together our prosperity affirmation. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses the center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share returns to me, blessed and multiplied.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
So, as I accept this virtual offering basket with the gifts being tendered this day and in the coming week, I give thanks for all of the abundance that we receive, our lives, our homes, our possessions, our food, our income. All these things are reflections of God's abundance, bestowed beyond measure, limited only by our ability to receive. And so I receive all of these gifts with great gratitude, great appreciation, and great joy. I bless this time, I bless these gifts, and so it is. But we come now to our announcements. So let's take a look, see what's going on. Oh, beg your pardon. Well, I don't see any first-time visitors with us today, but want to welcome all of you who are here with us. We are determined to continue thriving as a spiritual community. Our building may be closed, but our center is alive and well, and our community has a lot of things going on. There's something going on every single day of the week. And so you find the one that fits you, jump right on in. You can tell your friends and family about us, watch our Sunday talks live here on Zoom, just like you're doing now. Or you can go back later on and see the recordings. They're being posted on YouTube by Tuesday each week. You can find links to those recordings either on Facebook or on our webpage or on Instagram, and we'd be happy to point you towards them. So make sure you do that. Well, next Sunday, Reverend Pam will be back to address the topics for September, which are facing the fear. And her talk is going to be a question of faith. We're also blessed to have Joaquin Fiorezi come back and be our guest musician that day. And our practitioner will be Brenda Hilburn. If you enjoyed today's talk with Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones, I want to let you know about something that our CSL National Office is doing, and that's holding or supporting a book study led by him, the author himself, that will start in just a couple weeks now, Monday, September 14th, and will continue for the next, for a total of 4 Sundays from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be done on Zoom, as we have to do things like that now. But if you are interested in this, the way to check that out and perhaps register is at csl.org/education. So I invite you to check that out. We've had a lot going on this past month. You may have taken part in the Cozy Couch concert series with Gary Lynn Floyd and Jamie Lula. We also had a comedy night fundraiser with Jason Love and a cast of characters. I missed that, and I just wish that I could go back and watch those myself. We had 2 guest speakers during the time that I was away. These guest speakers were during the Wednesday night gathering with Donna Hartley and Kaylee Sappenfield, both of whom provided just wonderful presentations. I want to let you know that this Wednesday night gathering will continue this coming week. And while we normally get together for prayer, music, and discussion, this coming week will be yet another special event. Someone in our group is going to the boards for becoming a CSL minister, and yours truly will be celebrating that event Wednesday night. And I invite you to come and join for fun and conversation and maybe even some online games, something that we haven't done before, but just a fun time. Let's celebrate together. We have morning meditations on Monday and Tuesday, led by our licensed prayer practitioners. It's a wonderful event. I encourage you to check it out. In addition to the two things I just mentioned, we also have meditations that take place on Thursday afternoons from 5 to 6 p.m., led by Mary McEnany and Penny Scholler. Thank you so much, Penny, for leading that. An event, Course in Love, study by Sue Python, will be taking place this Friday. The next time that Sue will be dealing with the books Letting Go will be on the third Friday of this month, September 17th. And lastly, on Saturdays, Ned DeAntios leading A Course in Miracles. I invite you to check this out. I want to say thank you so much to all of those who came out yesterday and helped with the community outreach event that we do once a month during the summer, picking up litter along Highway 267 in Kings Beach. It was a fun time. We got loads of trash, and maybe next time you can join us as well. So with that, what I would like to do is invite let me get out of share for a second. Invite you to meet our prayer practitioners here in the room. If you please raise your hand. Shirley Clark, I see you out there, and Nancy O'Neill, and Cal Oban, and Reverend Penn. And so if you have any prayer requests, please feel free to reach out to these individuals. We will have the names and phone numbers posted in just a few minutes. Call the center office and leave requests for a callback, or just let us know. These prayer practitioners, myself included, have spent many hours preparing to bring forth further demonstrations in our lives and in yours. So take advantage of this resource. You'll be glad you did. And so we have a closing song to play. Let me see if I can do that.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me.
And please join me in reading the affirmation. Love dispels all fear, casts out all doubt, and sets the captive free. Love is fearless and strong. It is mighty in its works. It can accomplish all things. Love fills my soul. And so it is. Well, Mary, now this ends our service for today. Thank you so much for being here. We will have the microphones open for group sharing. So yeah, I'll see you. Have a wonderful week.